Green card holders, listen up. If you think renewing your green card is just a simple form, think again. In 2025, the rules are changing, quietly but dramatically. USCIS is now using Form I-90 renewals as an opportunity to review whether you've abandoned your permanent residency. That means even if your card is still valid, your status could be in danger. Let's break it down. What's happening with I-90 in 2025? Form I-90 is what lawful permanent residents use to renew an expired green card, or replace a lost or damaged card, or upgrade an older version with no expiration date. Historically, the process was fast and low risk. USCIS simply checked your identity, confirmed you were still a permanent resident in the system, and sent a new card. But in 2025, they've started doing something completely new. They're checking whether you're still living in the United States. Case example, when I-90 leads to trouble. A recent consultation revealed how risky this has become. A woman who had her green card since 2014 had been living mostly abroad. She was traveling back to the US every 6 months, thinking she was resetting the clock. She filed Form I-90 from outside the US to renew her old-style green card. And what did she receive? A request for evidence, RFE, that questioned whether she had abandoned her green card. USCIS asked for her entire travel history since 2014, photocopies of all passports with stamps, a full statement of residency and employment since becoming a resident, utility bills, tax returns, mortgage info, and her actual return date to the US. This was not a routine renewal. This was a residency investigation. What does this mean for you? This case is not unique. It's a wake-up call. USCIS is now reviewing how long you've been out of the US, checking whether your ties to America are strong, looking for evidence that your life is still based in the US. If they believe otherwise, they could deny your renewal, or worse, question your entire status as a green card holder. The danger of filing I-90 while abroad. One of the biggest mistakes green card holders make. Filing Form I-90 while outside the US. If you do that, it raises a red flag. How can someone claim to be a lawful permanent resident if they're not even in the country when renewing? For USCIS, it suggests your residency is no longer permanent. You're using the green card like a visa, and that's not allowed. Reentry could trigger Form I-407. Many green card holders assume they're safe if they return to the US every 6 months.
Wrong.
Customs and Border Protection, CBP, officers at the airport can stop you, review your travel history, and conclude you're no longer living in the US. That's when they hand you Form I-407, the voluntary abandonment of permanent residency. Signing that form means giving up your green card on the spot. What if you refuse to sign? You're allowed to say no to Form I-407, but that doesn't mean you're in the clear. Refusing may lead CBP to issue a notice to appear, NTA, placing you into deportation proceedings in immigration court. Once that happens, you're stuck in the US. You can't travel abroad during the case. You may wait 1 to 4 years for court decision, and you'll live in constant risk of removal. That's a huge burden, especially if your life, family, or job is based abroad. The safer option, Reentry Permit, Form I-131. If you need to live outside the US for extended periods, there's a legal solution. File Form I-131 for a reentry permit. This allows you to stay outside the US for up to 2 years without risking abandonment of your green card. During that time, CBP won't question your long absences. You can travel in and out. You protect your status from unintentional abandonment. But here's the key. You must file Form I-131 while physically in the US. Common mistakes that could get you flagged. Let's talk about common errors that put green card holders at risk, whether or not you're aware. Filing I-90 while abroad. Spending 7 to 10 months abroad each year, even with brief US visits. Not keeping U.S. financial or residential ties, taxes, lease, utility bills. Failing to disclose full travel history when asked. Thinking CBP won't notice long absences. The system has tightened. USCIS and CBP now cross-reference your records. Even your I-94 travel history might be incomplete, which means they'll demand you provide the full picture. How USCIS defines abandonment. Spending 6 months abroad isn't automatically abandonment. But here's what they do consider. Have you spent more time abroad than in the US? Do you work abroad? Are your family and property located abroad? Did you file US tax returns as a resident? Have you applied for a reentry permit? USCIS looks at your intent to live in the US permanently. If that intent isn't clear from your behavior, you could lose your green card. Real-life exceptions USCIS may accept. There are some situations where long absences are excused. Studying abroad with US family ties. Medical treatment. Caring for ill relatives overseas. Temporary work assignments. Personal emergencies. But even then, you'll need proof, documents, and consistency. Your explanation must match your travel records, your tax returns, and your day-to-day life. What if you're already in trouble? If you've already received an RFE like the woman in our example, or if CBP has questioned your travel, do not respond alone. Don't guess. Don't fabricate info. Don't ignore the notice. Speak to an immigration attorney. Organize your records. Return to the US if you haven't already. Avoid filing new forms while abroad. In some cases, you may still be able to save your green card status, but only with proper legal strategy. Final takeaways for 2025 green card holders. Here's your checklist. Live in the US most of the time. File I-90 and I-131 only while inside the US. Keep your US tax, job, and housing connection strong. Document every trip, including exit and entry dates. Never sign Form I-407 without understanding the consequences. Apply for a reentry permit before leaving long-term. Seek legal help if you receive an RFE, NTA, or are questioned at the border.
Summary.
Green card renewals used to be easy. Not anymore. USCIS is now watching closely. They're using I-90 to ask deeper questions, and your answers or lack of answers could determine whether you get to keep your permanent residency. Don't assume you're safe just because your card hasn't expired. If your lifestyle doesn't match your immigration status, 2025 might be the year it catches up to you. If this video helped you, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss an urgent immigration update. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.